Welcome to NuttieBuddie Sports. Previewing the Arizona Cardinals.
Let's move on to the Arizona Cardinals. This is your chance to shine, Chad, a little bit here. Okay, let me ask you this. What is your biggest question for the Cardinals, Chad?
If I had to ask a question right now, why do we keep having late season slides? There's nothing more frustrating to me as a Cardinals fan. And last year was very painful after the start we had and then to watch it go away. But this is a habit now under Cliff Kingsbury. So I need to know why they think this is happening. That's my biggest question. And it irritates me. I'm not going to lie. It irritates me.
I agree. I actually wrote that down as well. Just to give all the listeners sort of an idea, the Cardinals started 5-2 in 2020 and ended up 8-8. In 2021, sorry, Chad, I don't mean to make you relive this, but I just want to reiterate or prove your point. They started off 7-0 last year, and then they went 4-6 down the stretch, ended up 11-6. So that was my biggest question too. Can we get beyond the hot starts? Like, can we end the season strong? You know, can they do that? And I guess we'll see. Jack, what's your biggest question for the Cardinals?
For me, I think it's an obvious one for the offense. Who is going to step up with DeAndre Hopkins suspended? You know, is Rondale Moore going to be, is he going to be the star that everyone says he is? You know, because in camp, he's looking really good, but is he going to step up? Because AJ Green is older. Who is going to be the next one to be Kyler Murray's big target?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hopkins out for 6 games, right? Yeah, 6 games. Clint, what's your biggest question for the Cardinals?
I'm going to be fair about this, so let me finish out, because you'll get to this with the Niners too. My question is Kyler Murray actually good? Like, not just put up stats good. Is he good enough, as we talked about, like with Russell Wilson? Is Kyler Murray like he's good, he's going to get us some wins in the playoffs, or is he just good enough to put us in the 10-6 zone every year and fall apart in the playoffs?
So like Ryan Tannehill is what you're saying, sort of, kind of ish, huh?
Well, better than Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. His athleticism, I think sometimes, no, I agree with that. Trust me, I agree with that. I think sometimes, like, his athleticism, he relies on it too much, and then when he gets injured, that's when his season, and that's why I think if I had a theory, that's why they have cold ends, hot starts, cold ends, because Kyler has that athleticism, and then he like sprains his ankle, and then he doesn't have it towards the end of the season. That would be my theory. But Talon, what about you? What's your biggest question for the Cardinals?
Yeah, it's along the Kyler Murray line. Can he take that maturity leap that he needs to take? Like you said, he relies too much on his athleticism. He's even come out in tweets and stuff and said that I see the whole field so well in my mind that I don't put in the film work that I need to. I don't do the research that I need to. And so he needs to take that maturity leap, learn from the greats. The one that comes to mind is Drew Brees. First one on the field, last one off the field, but put in those reps. And if he can do that, there's no question about his talent. But if he can do that, then yeah, he's gonna be solid.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jack.
And I just thought it was interesting, Kyler's contract, how everyone got kind of mad because there was a certain clause in there. And they basically said, you need to make this amount of hours in film study, and you can't not be sitting around the couch playing video games, watching movies. Literally, they said that in the contract. And so to me, that questions, do they even believe in his maturity? Because he's athletic, but do they believe that he's got what you need as a quarterback? Does he have the brains for it? And can he be more vocal? Because he's a quiet guy by nature, because they need a vocal leader. So I'm excited to see. I love him as a quarterback, but there is a lot of questions. Just to add to that.
Yeah, I kept him in our IDP league, Clint, because I think he's also a really good stat-heavy quarterback. I really like watching him, and I do root for him because, he's kind of the undersized guy. But yeah, there are questions, and like, as fans, we have to question it, because why would you put a clause like that into the contract if there isn't a problem with it? Like, I've never heard of that before, so I guess we'll see what happens. Okay, let's go back to you, Chad. What was your favorite off-season move that your Cardinals made?
My favorite move was out of necessity, but I am a big fan of the connection that you have in college, right? So the fact that they got Hollywood Brown, that's a very underrated move. Most people think, well, they had to do it because of DeAndre Hopkins, and we did. That is true. And I watched Kyler in college a lot, and the connection he had with Hollywood was beautiful. And I think they found something there. And not only that move, but they also getting Cody Ford from the Bills was very, very smart, because he blocked for Kyler in college as well. So I can kind of see the mentality that they're trying to do is to get Kyler comfortable. And I think that move with Marquise Brown is very, very good. And I think week 7, when DeAndre's back and we've got Marquise on one side, you've got DeAndre, you've got Rondale Moore, you've got Zach Ertz. That is a very strong wide receiver core. So I'm going to go with Marquise Brown.
Okay. We will be talking about him in the next segment, just so you know. But I like that you played on the chemistry aspect, because, you know, like I know they played in college, but it's not something like that I personally think like, oh, this is going to be a great thing. But you could be right. And, and we'll talk about that in a second. Jack, what was your favorite offseason move that the Cardinals made?
Well, I feel bad we're going to talk about it in a second, because I was going to do the same thing. Marquise Brown. I love the guy. Christian Kirk left. I was wondering what's going to happen, and it just makes sense with that addition.
Okay, excellent. How about you, Talon?
Well, it's funny when you start looking this stuff up in preparation. Cardinals' best offseason move. They were mostly slammed by most of the NFL media sources, and so with that being the case, there's a reason why we're talking about Marquise Brown, all of us. It's because that was truthfully their best offseason move. I think what the Cardinals did is I think they took a page out of Cincinnati's page book, and they saw Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase connection. They saw what Jamar Chase was able to do against Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey is on the team that is their biggest rival. So they're like, how do we beat the Rams? Well, we need to get a guy like Jamar Chase, because look what Jamar Chase did to them in the Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow had no time to throw it. And so in my mind, that was a wonderful, wonderful move. And also I'm trying to stack Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown in most of my fantasy football drafts too.
So those are your like ride and die, like that's your ride and die move in fantasy. Clint, what about you? What was your favorite offseason move?
Well, I'll save. Most of mine are the next segment. Favorite move would be Ford. Anything to improve your offensive line. That's pretty much the only positive I could see for the offseason. But we'll get into that in the next one.
Okay. Go ahead, Chad.
Also, Will Hernandez, that dude, I forgot about him actually. That was a great pickup. He is a dog. He is a dog. When I saw him fight J.J. Watt, not back down, I thought, okay, we got something here. So I'm a big fan of him as well.
Okay, nice. My favorite was re-signing James Conner. He had 15 touchdowns last year. He averaged almost 4 yards a carry. I think that was a good addition for the Cardinals the year before, because like he was running behind the Steelers offensive line, who had Ben Roethlisberger, who couldn't throw the ball deep, and that offensive line is not good at all. So I thought that was a good move last year to bring him in, and then to keep him this next year and get him for 3 more years. And it's like a $7 million a year contract, something like that. It's not that much. I really like that they kept him, because I think he works well with Kyler Murray, apparently, because he got 15 touchdowns. So I like that move. I like that move for the Cardinals. Okay, let's go on to our least favorite move of the offseason for the Cardinals. Chad, what was your least favorite?
Yeah, don't get me started.
Oh, boy.
I got a lot, but you know what? I'm going to go with one that probably only a Cardinals fan is really going to miss. Jordan Hicks. letting him go. Jordan Hicks was the anchor in our linebacker core. That guy was a tackling machine. Yes, he was getting a little older, but man, he was the most dependable dude on the defense. I know a lot of people are going to say Chandler. Yes, we are going to miss Chandler. I agree. Chandler started off strong last year at 5 sacks in the first game, and he finished with 10. I was not a huge fan of Chandler last year. Chandler did not work hard at the end of the year last year. But again, that's me being very critical. But I'm watching this guy's tape, and I'm seeing Chandler took plays off. So although I am going to miss him, he's not the guy that I'm going to miss. Jordan Hicks did not take plays off. And I'm not sold on Zaven Collins yet. So therefore, that Jordan Hicks, that just hurts. It just hurts, guys. That's my pick.
I felt it in your voice. You really sold me on it. Jordan Hicks, that's the right answer. Clint, how about we start with one, and then we'll see if we get them all as we all take one. Why don't you tell me your least favorite offseason move?
Least favorite would be extending Kyler Murray when you did. And we'll get to this with the 49ers, so we'll be fair. But extending someone with over 2 years left on their contract when there's no chance that he can hold out because he's going to lose the year of service for a guy that hasn't proved it, just, I wouldn't do it. I get why you have to do it, quotation marks, in football today. But to give a guy that much money that, frankly, based on how you worded the contract, you're really not sold on. But to give him that money now, you just locked yourself in and cross your fingers that he's going to turn into something more than the 10-6 Cardinals for the next 8 years.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, to jump on. Yeah, go ahead, Chad.
Clint, I agree with you so much there. But the back of my mind kept thinking, though, what are we going to do without him? Like, I agree. We probably shouldn't have done it as early as we did, but that's kind of what's going on in the NFL. But when I step back and being a long-suffering Cardinals fan, we have improved every single year he's been there. Like, our record has gone. And last year showed me the potential that we really could have. So I felt like I think it's a smart move. I'm worried about it, but I'm like, who else are we going to get? Because I don't want to be in the Seahawks situation either. So Kyler, he might be top 15 quarterback, but I don't think right now, I just don't know who else would be better. So I'm going to ride with him. And I know that's a homer answer, but I feel like I agree with Clint so much because I struggled with that thought so much. But then I thought, man, we've improved every year. And for a Cardinals fan, 11-6, that's unheard of. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, right? Like, sort of thing. Like, you got to choose one or the other. That's what every team's doing. I mean, I agree that it would have been nice to wait another year, but who knows with that Deshaun Watson contract going around, quarterbacks are going to get paid a lot more and a lot more guaranteed. So you might be a little fortunate that Kyler Murray got the extension he did when it happened. Talon, what was your least favorite move of the offseason for the Cardinals?
Well, I thought it was losing Chandler Jones until I looked at his stats. I thought that was the worst move, but it turns out he just really went off against the Seahawks. So that's why I thought he was some big thing. So it wasn't that. It turns out it wasn't that. My least favorite move was actually drafting Trey McBride when they did in the draft. I thought it was a little bit of a reach, and I thought it was a position that, tight end they didn't need with Zach Ertz. He's not going to contribute much, and to me, they're a win now team with the team that they've got. And so there were so many other picks there that they could have had that would have helped them win now, especially against a tough division, a -1 team, as we've been told. So yeah, that pick made no sense to me.
Okay. Yeah. A little bit of a reach for sure. How about Jack? What about you? What was your least favorite move that the Cardinals made?
This is a tough question because it kind of goes with my favorite move. The gamble on Marquise Brown is awesome because they needed it. But at the same time, if he pans out, if he is good, they're going to have to sign him. They're going to, and then they have to sign Hopkins as well. That's like 40 million, 50 million that they're going to spend on 2 players. And then they have Isabella, Moore, for their second-round picks. They're going to have to get paid soon. Zach Ertz is on a long deal as well. I mean, so it's very interesting to me. Do the Cardinals how they're valuing players and what their long-term plan is, them dishing out these contracts. What's their plan? It's just really confusing to me.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on that one. That was sort of kind of like, I don't know. I understand why they did it. I like the chemistry angle that you went with, Chad. You know, like, I guess I didn't really meditate on it too much, but the Marquise Brown, the first round pick for him, AJ Brown went for a first and a third. Like, I would rather have AJ Brown on my team than Hollywood Brown. Amari Cooper went for a 5th round pick. You know what I'm saying? I'm not obviously Hollywood's younger, but that wasn't a lot. Tyreek Hill went for 1 first round, a 2nd round, and then all these late round picks, which them are all going to be bust anyway. So it really doesn't matter. You know, like, they probably won't make any team. I just like, to me, Hollywood Brown is kind of like, hey, we're going to run fast downfield. He's going to get open every now and then. He's going to make big plays. But I don't know if there's much more to his game. He had 1,000-yard season and he barely broke 1,000. I think it was 1,008. So I don't know if it was worth giving up a 1st-round pick for him. But you also understand, like, they needed to get him, like, and the chemistry was there. I just don't know. Did they try to only give up a 2nd? Like, why was a 1st round needed? I just felt like there was better value other places that I would have went versus him. But that's why that would be my least favorite move of the offseason. I just can't stomach the 1st round pick. Go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, that was going to be mine from before, is a 1st round pick when, as we've seen in the preseason, again, there is something to having a guy that's a little proven, but the receivers that went after in the 2nd round, that even if you would have took in the 1st, I would much rather have that than Hollywood Brown, who's constantly doesn't miss a ton of games, but he's banged up a lot and doesn't play great when he's banged up. And as Jack brought out, he's probably going to have a good year. So this is going to sound stupid because I think as Chad brought out, their defense might take a bit of a step back, some of it. So I think they're going to be in a lot of high scoring games. In the first 6 weeks, Hollywood Brown's probably going to have like 4 or 5 touchdowns and it's going to look so amazing. And then you're going to turn around and pay the dude $20 million a year and be like, hey, cool, we have a one-trick pony, and DeAndre Hopkins, we're going to pay him, and we just paid Zach Ertz, and I don't know. I feel like if you're going to pay someone, they should do more than like one thing, and I get the chemistry thing, but part of me too thinks if you're collecting college friends, like, are we just going to form a Kyler Murray clique on half the team, and then the rest of the team is going to be like, who's this dude? We paid him, and now we're going to get all his college buddies, and he's just going to throw it to Hollywood Brown 12 times a game.
Well, hey, you know, we could be wrong, Clint, but I'm sort of with you on most of what he says. So, hey, by the end of the season, he'll have like 1,800 yards and 17 touchdowns. I mean, you will be calling Chad up and be like, dude, you were totally right. We'll never doubt you again. And it's hard too, because I don't even know what kind of quarterback Lamar Jackson is. You know, that's the other part. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, that's my issue with Hollywood Brown. I love Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's not a thrower. Mm-hmm. So I've seen so many balls that Hollywood could have caught if Lamar had some sort of accuracy. So I think he's going to be better than he was in Baltimore. I will say that. And I do think there is some truth in the chemistry. So I'm riding. I'm going to ride with him. I got to ride with him. I got no choice.
You should. No, but I agree. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But yeah, you should ride with them. And yeah, we don't know what Lamar was or is. We're still figuring him out. So maybe it was Lamar Jackson. Okay. Anything to add to this before we move on? Okay. Let's talk about what will make the season a successful season for the Cardinals. What say you, Chad? What will make the Cardinals season a success?
If we can stay the loss of DeAndre Hopkins, if we can start those first 6 games at least 3-3, our first 6 games are kind of rough. You know, we start off rough. I am not excited about that start. If we can stay that and be just 3-3, I will be happy, because the back end of our schedule isn't quite as tough as the front end. But the problem is we stink on the back end of schedule. So this could be a rough year if we don't start off good. But I do think I'm excited because I think our receiving core. I'm kind of big on Greg Dortch, who I hope makes the team. I think he should this year. Andy Isabella, kind of torn. I just like it when he plays the 49ers. That's the one team he seems to play good against. So if I could have him for that game, yes. But we just got to start fast again. And if we can do that, stay the first 6 games, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback. I said consistent season. If they can play consistently throughout the season, I think that'll be successful. If you start out 3-3 and then you get Hopkins back, you'll have a better rest of the year. You'll probably up at like 11-6 or something like that. But if they can just be consistent throughout the year and not have that slump towards the end of the year, that'll be a successful season. Talon, what do you got for us? What will make their season a success?
Yeah, I think just flipping the script, do the opposite of what they've done in years past, win more games at the end of the season, go into the playoffs riding high. If they lose more in the beginning, that's fine. That's not what it matters. Catch momentum, catch some speed going in those playoffs and really be a tough out for any team. Make a team scared of you guys.
Yeah, I like that. Jack?
Yeah, for me, when I watch the Cardinals, when Kyler Murray is like literally running around using his athleticism, they're not playing good football. He's forced to making moves that he shouldn't be. So for me, yes, you can run around, be a great quarterback, but stay in the pocket. Brown, Moore, Zach Ertz, stay focused on just making your reads and your throws. And James Conner needs to be a red zone beast, which we know he can be. That's why they gave him the contract. That's how they're going to be successful. Is not running so much with the quarterback, because then they're in a little they're in some worry when that starts happening.
Yeah, I agree. Clint?
If I was a Cardinals fan, it would be make the playoffs and Kyler Murray look competent in the playoffs. Like, he looked so bad the last game. If you can get there, and even if they lose in the first round, but they play a good game, he plays a good game, at least it shows some growth. You can build on that. But if you get to the playoffs and he throws for 137 yards again and 2 interceptions, like, all right, then we have some more worry. So as a fan, obviously you want to win the Super Bowl every year, but if he can look competent, I know I feel like I'm talking down. I'm not trying to, but he was so bad in that game. If he can look good in a playoff game, then okay, maybe we can build on this going forward.
Yeah. Were you on with me, Clint, when we predicted that game and everybody was picking the Cardinals to win because they trusted Kyler Murray over Matthew Stafford?
There was a lot of drinking, probably, I think.
I think so too. But I was just like, what are we talking about? Matthew Stafford. Come on, guys. Come on. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I think Kyler Murray can be that guy. It just, will he put in the effort, the time? And that seems to be what the organization's concerned about, because the athleticism and the talent seems to be there. So, okay, let's any other additional questions for the Cardinals? No, okay. Let's then do predictions. Over under 8.5 wins. Chad, what do we got?
Over. We're a 10-win team.
10-win. Okay. I like how short sleep. 10-win team done. Jack, what do you got?
Over. I'm going to go with 9.
Clint?
Jack and I are on the same wavelength. I think it's good for our next section that we're about to go into, the next team. So I said over 2. I also had 9.
Okay. Talon?
I guess I'm the most optimistic because I've got them at 11 wins. So over.
Okay. I can't wait to hear how you predict the other two teams. I also have over at 9 wins. I have 9 and 8 as their record, but 10 it wouldn't be too far off, but yeah, I got 9. Okay, you guys ready to talk about the San Francisco 49ers? Thanks so much for watching this clip of NuttieBuddie Sports. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you'd like to listen to the rest of the podcast, click on one of the links down below. And if you want to give us your thoughts on any team in any division, let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon.